Good evening, everyone. I will now call the Winton Woods Board of Education meeting to order. It is 6:30 p.m. on Monday, October 23rd, 2017. Would everyone please turn their electronic devices to silent or off for the duration of the meeting, and then please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Seymour, would you please call our roll tonight?
Dr. Johnson?
Present.
Mrs. Kuhn?
Present.
Mrs. Ruglis?
Present.
Mr. Birdie?
Present.
Mrs. Miranda?
Present. We will now move into the first item on our agenda tonight. Item number 2, our district honors, recognitions, gifts, and introductions. Mr. Superintendent, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, President Miranda. Is there anyone here from the Kiwanis group? Yes, sir. Is Blake Engelmann here?
He's on the way.
He's on the way?
Yes.
Okay, all right. We'll come back and get him. All right, okay. All right. What about Alex Kress? Okay. It's a little weathery outside, so they may come later on. But even if they don't come, I'll read some great stuff about them anyway. All right.
Can you skip over them for now?
Yes.
All right, we'll bring you back up.
Thank you.
What about Innocent? Is he here?
He's so cute.
Miss Kristen Millett, thank you.
We were starting to get worried.
Got to get one person. Thank you, Miss Miller.
Come on up. We're going to say some real good things.
I was losing my touch.
A little bit.
So I forewarned you.
Okay. Find my notes. All right. Our selection for the Skyline Chili Teacher of the Month for October is Kristen Miller. Mrs. Miller has been an outstanding teacher for us here at the intermediate school. Ms. Miller helps with a number of after-school clubs such as Girls on the Run and Sprinters. Ms. Miller also has graciously volunteered to take on a self-contained classroom so that we could have a smoother transition with a newly hired teacher. Wow, bravo for that. Thank you. Did you really volunteer? Mrs. Miller has always been a team player and a fantastic member of our school community, and this is written by Mr. Jeremy Day, Winton Woods Intermediate School. So, Ms. Miller, we need you to say a few words.
Well, thank you for this. It's been wonderful working at the intermediate school and for Winton Woods City Schools. I love being here, and I look forward to working with my self-contained class.
Wow. Thank you, Ms. Miller. So there was a great contest that happened not too long ago at the zoo. And it's the Zoo Plein-Air Contest. And here are some of the participants. Mr. Darian Hassard. Yes, sir. Miss Aliana Washam. And Miss Princess Dyer. So there were about 40 high schools art pieces represented, and Winton Woods had some pieces in the art show, and we wanted to let you see just how incredible they were. Whose piece is that?
Eliana's.
Eliana. Incredible. Whose is that?
Eliana.
All right.
It is.
Is that yours, Darian?
No, that's Princess's. That's mine.
Oh.
Okay, so I want you guys to say a little bit about why you chose that particular animal and what kind of expressive thoughts went behind it.
Well, I thought elephants would be fun. Stylistically, I just kind of did a bunch of anatomy studies of the different elephants because there were 3. So I did a bunch of sketching around. I think I did a little too much sketching because I was a little rushed to get that done. But I do think that the elephant is very strong in regards to the other elements of the image. And then I just kind of composed it based on some of the plants around the zoo.
Bravo. Bravo. Princess?
I chose to do lions and giraffes, mainly because when I was little, that's what I always wanted to run to at the zoo. And I just did close-ups because it was kind of hard to get the landscape, because they're in the lions are behind glass enclosures, so all the kids would just run in front of me because we had to do it there. So I kind of just had to work with what I had.
Very good.
Very good.
good.
Come back.
Sorry.
So I need to know who inspires you to draw.
I don't know. A lot of people inspire me to draw.
All right, name 2.
Okay, my mom. And I guess,
Very
I
good
don't know,
answer.
me.
All right.
Inspired.
2 good people. That's an important one. Princess?
I would say my dad, because he used to draw when we were younger, and we just stand there and he'd draw us. So
See, people think that this kind of just happens innately, but there's always someone behind the scenes that kind of sets it up. So I appreciate you guys very, very much. You want to tell a little bit about that shirt you're wearing?
Well, actually, I got accepted by the DAT program at the University of Cincinnati.
Bravo. Very competitive program, and we are very excited. So, thank you. All right. Congratulations. Very
Good
much.
job.
So, who came in? Blake. Mr. Engelmann. Where are you? Oh, Blake. All right, I need you to stand all the way up here.
Got it?
Yes, sir. Okay. So, you've been waiting for you.
So sweet.
All right. I asked Blake, was he nervous? He's like, no, I do this all the time. Okay. Blake Engelmann is a role model student for demonstrating respect to both his peers and teachers. Blake understands how to show respect to his teachers by listening, following directions, and using kind manners. With his classmates, Blake exhibits these same qualities. However, Blake goes above and beyond and uses positive reinforcement to encourage his friends and displays empathy when trying to redirect them when they make bad choices. Blake understands that all teachers and students are different, but shows each person he interacts with equal respect and compassion. Blake appreciates the abilities, qualities, and achievements of others before himself. I'm so thankful I've had his leadership in my classroom, the infamous Miss Emily Perkins. Who did you bring with you tonight? Who did you bring here tonight?
My mom and dad.
All right, Mom and Dad, come on up.
Your brother, your sister.
All right. Miss Perkins, you too. Come on. All right, so we're going to get a great picture. Okay. Yes. So you go down in front.
This is fantastic. Fantastic.
The subject that was chosen for Blake was respect. And Blake shows that every single day. Fantastic. All right. We have a special recognition tonight. One of our very own, Miss Janice Peterson. Come up, Miss Peterson. Wow. Okay. This is incredible. Special recognition, Department of Student Services, Ms. Janice Peterson. The Board of Education extends its appreciation to Ms. Peterson, an employee in the district since 2001 and currently the Student Service Administrative Secretary. For her exceptional support of Winton Woods City Schools, Ms. Peterson coordinated and collaborated with local partners to collect donations for hurricane victims, and established and coordinates the Warriors for the Cause, an annual fundraiser to benefit students. Ms. Janice Peterson. Now, when we were,
It wasn't gonna be that easy. It wasn't gonna be that easy.
so when we contacted Ms. Peterson to let her know she was going to receive this auspicious award, she said, "Superintendent, can I please make a speech?" And I said, "Sure."
Anybody that knows me knows that's not true. I'm not really a public speaker, but I just want to say thank you. I enjoy working at Winton Woods City Schools. I've enjoyed all the children and most of the staff. No, I'm kidding. All the staff that I've worked with over the years, and I look forward to 13 more.
13 more.
13, she's counting.
Yeah.
Way to go. Look at all the people. All right. That was awesome. Great speech. The next award is a very special award, and this one goes to an incredible individual who's been at the forefront of the district, leading the charge, making sure that everybody understood their purpose, their commitment, and I'd like to bring up my friend, Miss Sandra Dees.
She is dressed with the
She
colors.
is.
Oh, yes.
Green and blue. Hold it. There's a family. I know there has to be some family members. Yes, sir. There you go. There you go.
And Mrs. G's, is that a picture of family that you got? Well, then you want to hold that up so that they're represented in the picture, definitely. Now, come on, Mr. Dees.
Oh, Mr. Dees.
All 8.
All 8. Way to go.
Here's Louise, the baby girl. And my husband.
Oh, you know.
First, giving honor to God, of course. He made it happen. And I really and sincerely mean that. For when the struggles were real, God was bigger. And he made it happen. Ooh, hallelujah. He made it happen. And for that, we are eternally grateful. You heard the children cry. You heard them. Amen. And you brought the schools to pass. We cannot thank God enough for the things that he has done. We thank God for each and every one of you, for Superintendent being so steadfast. He is my friend. He really is. I got some things for him to do. He don't know it yet. But, yeah. To God be the glory for the things he has done. He's a good God. Thank God for my husband of 37 years. 36, okay, Junior's about 35. These are all 8 of the children. And they all came through Winton Woods. We've got the valedictorian. Where is she? There she is. One of our daughters went on to Ohio State and became a pharmacist. We've had other daughters. Louise has been to London. She's graduated from The Ohio State University and Xavier. Cassandra graduated from The Ohio State University and UC and became a pharmacist. Constance is twirling the world. Look for her. She's going to be on something really great. Gospel Fest coming up. Y'all look for us in February. I guess I wasn't supposed to say it, but I said it. God is doing a thing with all 8 of these children. Carrie Jr., I got to call him by rolling. I'm going to sit. Carrie Jr., Marcus, Catherine, Daniel, Cassandra, Constance, Louise, and Darnell. And Darnell is wrapping it up right now at Ohio State University. So praise the Lord, everybody. He's a good God, and we thank God for those new schools. I need my shovel and my hard hat right next to you. Woo! Hallelujah.
Miss Dees, you forgot our Gates Millennium scholar.
Yes, yes.
I know just for a minute, I didn't think I was at a board meeting. It felt like a gospel fest.
She did kind of take us to church. That's okay.
Incredible. Miss Peterson, I'm going to have you come back up for a minute. Come back up. And I need all the people who came with Miss Peterson to get in this picture.
Oh, yes, definitely, definitely.
This lets you know how much they appreciate her. This is powerful.
Yeah, anybody that wants to can pop up here too. You got different levels. Then people can stand on the side. No, I'll see right over here.
Yeah.
Did you take over here? No.
That many women, you know, they can't like just come to a quick agreement. Superintendent, yeah, you know, he's like, yeah, like, you might need to. He's like, I'm not moving.
Right.
Yes, now there's more room.
Thank you.
We asked him to just scoot over. Yes, there we go.
I was anticipating your request. Is that good? Yeah. Okay.
I can see everyone. I'll count to 3 this time. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Wow. Fantastic. Pleasure. Thank you.
So it's that.
Okay. Before we move forward, did we get a picture of Darian and Mom?
No, we didn't. No.
Come on up, Darian and Mom. And then Princess, who did you bring, dear? She took a phone call?
Okay.
All
So
right.
we'll do the Hasserts first, and
Let's get
then
the
we'll come
Hasserts
back to the
first.
Dyer family.
Yes.
Thank you.
Did Alex Kress come in?
Not yet.
No? Okay.
peek out here at Princess and see if she can. She doesn't like pictures. All right. Come on up. Yes. All right, fantastic. We do have awards for Blake Engelmann, Alex Kress, Innocent Naquali, and also Bishop Victor Cousins. We'll also work on getting those individuals their awards next month. We're going to keep doing it until they show up.
We got Mr. Engelmann.
We got Blake?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I want to do Blake twice. Okay, all right. Those are all.
All right, congratulations again to all of our wonderful staff, students, and community. At this time, we will take a 5-minute recess. All right, colleagues, we will come back into session. And we do not have any public comments this evening, so we will move into item number 5 on our agenda, which is the approval of minutes as presented.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
And I'll second that.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, would you please call that vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Kuhn?
Aye.
Mrs. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mr. Birdie?
Aye.
Mrs. Miranda?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. And Mr. Seymour, we turn to you for item number 6 on our agenda this evening.
It's always so exciting to have such an exciting thing after all. You get to talk about the dry stuff after all the good stuff.
It's okay. It's still important.
It's important.
It's still important,
It's
Randy.
important, but it's hard to make it exciting.
Well, actually, we'd prefer it not to be exciting.
The year-to-date revenues for the general fund are at 16.8 million, with month-to-date at 2.5, mostly representing our state foundation and our final real estate payment. The general fund had total expenditures of 12.2 million, which gives us good news that we're currently about 2.5% under budget, which is right about where we were this time last year. And then you have all the financial activity for all the funds, and the district had unencumbered fund balances on September the 30th of approximately 74.5 million. 15.9 was the general fund, and then of course we're always going to reiterate the 10 million for the building fund and 45.1 for the classroom facilities. When we say unencumbered, we have committed some of the funds on the classroom facilities at this time. And with that, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Any questions for Mr. Seymour on item number 6? All right, we will let the financial statement for the month of September 2017 be referred to audit. And then, Mr. Seymour, you have the floor for 7.0.
Interest for the month, we had approximately 93 million invested, and we earned $54,000 for interest for the month of September.
And board colleagues, a motion would be in order for item 7.
Madam President, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the investment report as presented.
I'll second.
Go ahead.
It's been motioned and
Sorry,
seconded.
that's fine.
Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, would you please call that vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Kuhn?
Aye.
Mrs. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mr. Birdie?
Aye.
Mrs. Miranda?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. And Superintendent Smith, you have the floor for 8.01.
Yes, Madam President and Board. There are a variety of great events taking place, but I think one of the major pieces that the board would have interest in is how WWTA has worked diligently to have day conferences. So we have many of our parents who have different shifts and different responsibilities, but we do want them to be updated about their child's performance. So having day conferences, and every school will have day conferences, so that parents can be able to make it and talk about their child's performance and how well they're doing at Winton City Schools. So there are a variety of things, but I won't go into all of those. That was just the main highlight, that there will be day conferences pre-K to 12 on November 2nd.
Thank you, Superintendent Smith. And we can move right into 8.02.
Yes, 8.02. These are all first reads. These are revised policies that have been in effect, but this information is for discussion if necessary. Professional staff, policy 3217. Classified staff, policy 4217. Use of credit cards, 6423. Property, weapons, 7217. Operations, public records, 8310. Operations, student records, 8330. Relations, equivalent education outside the school and participation in extracurricular activity for students not enrolled in districts, and that would be 9270.
Thank you, Superintendent Smith. Board colleagues, are there any questions or comments on those first reads before we move on? Okay, Mr. Smith, back to you for 9.01.
Yes, Madam President and Board, the recommendation is to approve the personnel schedules as presented. Schedule A, resignations and retirements. Schedule B, certificated staff. Schedule C, support staff. Schedule D, extra duty and supplemental employment. And finally, Schedule E, leaves.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the personnel schedules as presented.
Second?
Been motioned and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, would you please call that vote?
Sure. Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Kuhn?
Aye.
Mrs. Ruggless?
Aye.
Mr. Birdie?
Aye.
Mrs. Miranda?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. And we will move into 9.02. Mrs. Kuhn, would you please read us that resolution, please?
Yes. Whereas American Education Week was first observed in December of 1921 as an opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments of our public schools and to acknowledge the importance of community support for public education. And whereas teachers, administrators, education professionals, and educational support staff working at the local, regional, and state levels serve our children and communities with care and professionalism. And whereas the strength, vitality, and freedom of our nation depends on citizens who are dedicated to the education of the next generation through the common school, which welcomes all children and strives to educate them to their highest potential. And whereas partnerships among public schools and their communities help build the support for public education that will sustain the vital institution through its many challenges in educating our children. And whereas the Winton Woods City School District Board of Education will ensure a quality education for all children that will provide them with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality. And be it therefore resolved that on this date, October 23rd, 2017, that American Education Week shall be a time to focus attention on the importance of our public schools, its students, and its staff. The Winton Woods City School District Board of Education hereby proclaims November 13th through 17th as American Education Week.
Thank you, Mrs. Kuhn.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution for American Education Week for November the 13th through the 17th, 2017, as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, would you please call that vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Kuhn?
Aye.
Mrs. Ruggless?
Aye.
Mr. Birdie?
Aye.
Mrs. Miranda?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. And we will go to 9.03. Mrs. Ruggless, would you please read that resolution?
Whereas the week of November 13th through 17th, 2007 is International Education Week. And whereas we as a nation are charged with broadening our focus and becoming engaged in building international relationships. And whereas we should expand our efforts to learn from other countries about techniques and practices that will help us improve our own system of education. And whereas we should provide leadership in educational issues in appropriate international forums and collaboratively work on initiatives of common benefits. And whereas it is appropriate to educate and encourage students to learn other languages, cultures, and challenges outside of our nation's borders. Therefore, be it resolved that the Winton Woods City School Board of Education formally promotes and supports international awareness and the importance of teaching our students international education skills, adopted this 23rd day of October, 2017.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution for International Education Week, November the 13th through the 17th, 2017, as presented.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Seymour, would you please call that vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Kuhn?
Aye.
Mrs. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mr. Birdie?
Aye.
Mrs. Miranda?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. And we will move into 9.04. So back to you, Superintendent Smith.
Yes, Madam President and Board. First of all, thank you, Board, for there were so many policies for you to approve at our last meeting. So thank you for being diligent and reading through so many of them. I appreciate it. The first three were new Every Student Succeed Act policies. These are brand new. There's 5111.03, students, children, and youth in foster care. New policy 8340, operations, letters of reference. 5111.01, students homeless. And the phase 2 new policies there are two of these policies, 8300, operations, continuum of organizational operations, continuity, and 8305, operations, information security. These other ones are revised policies. 0157, bylaws, appointment of Joint Vocational School District Board. 2430, program sponsored clubs and activities. 2430.02, program participation of community STEM students in extracurricular activities. 2431, interscholastic activities or athletics. 2461, recording of district meetings involving students and our parents. 2623, student assessment and academic intervention services. 3120.08, professional staff, employment of personnel for co-curricular, extracurricular activities. 5111, students, eligibility of resident, non-resident students. 5200, students' attendance. 5460, students' graduation requirements. 5610, students' removal, suspension, expulsion, and permanent exclusion of students. 5630, positive behavior intervention and supports and limited use of restraint and seclusion. 6325, procurement, federal grants. 8210, operations school calendar, revised policy. 8320, operations personnel files. 8452, operations automatic external defibrillators. 8500, food services. And finally, 8510, operations wellness.
Board colleagues, a motion would be in order.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve the new revised and replacement board policies for approval as presented as the second read.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any questions or discussion?
I did have a question about one of them, which is the revised student assessment and academic intervention services, and we're taking out language that the superintendent shall develop and present to the board annually, and the board shall approve. I just want to make sure that we understand that we're taking that language out.
Which one was it, Jeff, again?
2623.
And the reason the language is excluded is because it's no longer required.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the
And I think just because it's not required, though, it probably is something that we as a board should at least be aware of what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Those will always be in the superintendent updates.
Okay.
So they happen.
Yeah, I'm not so concerned about it. It's actually in the policy. I just want to make sure that we as a board understand that it's not in the language in the policy anymore, and that we do keep on top of getting updates.
Any further questions or discussion? Any amendments that we wanted to throw on the table for the motion?
No.
Okay, well, seeing no further discussion, Mr. Seymour, would you please call that vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Kuhn?
Aye.
Mrs. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mr. Birdie?
Aye.
Mrs. Miranda?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. And board colleagues, in our our very, very supportive audience. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We have a need for a closed session, but I want to go through items 11 through 14 on our agenda before we do so. So for right now, we're going to skip over item 10. I'm going to defer my legislative report in the effort of time. Mr. Birdie, would you like to do your Great Oaks report?
I'll defer my Great Oaks
Okay.
report as well.
And we do not have any board motions, so let's go ahead and do comments from the board. Mr. Birdie, we'll start with you.
Just really happy to see, some of the things that are going on in the schools. I think there's a project exhibition night at which school? Do you have that on yours? At the middle school. I was able to go to the preschool project exhibition night. I think it went well. I would encourage anybody with students in that school to take the time and go see what they're doing, because it's pretty neat.
Thank you, Mr. Birdie. Dr. Johnson?
Yes, I just want to thank our community volunteers. Bishop Cousins didn't make it, but Mrs. Dees did, and it's important to note that all of her children did graduate from the district, and all of them are very successful, and that says a lot about what our district is capable of producing. And having said that, we do have the Winton Woods volunteer aspect that Mrs. Denny has, the Warrior Expert that she has started. There's a place on our website you can go out and fill out the application to become a volunteer. And for the sake of all the stakeholders, we need to continue to strive to make this district keep it moving forward for better tomorrows. And we just appreciate the people who currently volunteer, and we're always looking for new volunteers. And just because the word says expert, don't let that scare you, because oh, I'm not an expert. But you can add something to, with the third grade guarantee, with somewhere, within the district. So just want to encourage everybody to do that. And also, just the communications team in general for getting the word out about all the good things that we're doing here in the district. And I think you guys are doing a great job of making sure that the word is getting out of the things that are going on in the district, and giving us the positive press that, sometimes it goes unnoticed. Things are going on and people don't know it. And I just want to appreciate the communications team for doing that. So that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Mrs. Ruggles?
Yes, just to piggyback on what Dr. Johnson has said, I think the communications team is doing a really good job. In the past, I've seen the communications being kind of lopsided, and it seems like it's more balanced between the academics and some of the community engagement activity and athletics, which I'd like to send a shout out to the men's varsity soccer team who made it to the playoffs. I was able to see their game against Moeller this Saturday, and I believe the volleyball team is also in the playoffs. So I want to make sure that those teams are getting some kudos and some shout outs, because they're working very hard as well. So the varsity soccer team is a very young team, and they played very competitive, and I'm very proud and looking forward to next year's season.
Mrs. Kuhn?
I was glad you asked me to read the American education, that proclamation celebrating American education, because that's something that I think the board takes its responsibility very seriously, the administrators, the teachers, our parents, and our students. And I think that expectation will continue to raise across the board, not only academically, but socially, through every opportunity that we offer our students to progress and to become wonderful student or citizens of the world. Education doesn't happen just in this building or that building. It happens every day, every single time of the day. It doesn't have business hours. And we want to encourage our families. We partner with our community members, but our families and our students are our first partner, really, when we look at it. They're the ones we have to bring in, encourage, and get them engaged, get their families engaged. We see what the power that engaged families can do when we bring find examples like Miss Dees and her family, and what can be done just with the power of one. All of these can be done. We have made great progress. I think we can continue to chart the waters and set our goals high and keep moving raising that bar. But our students are very capable of learning. We want to give them every opportunity, and we want them to reach their highest potential. So very excited to have this opportunity to serve our children and our community. And I think our board is of common mind. So it's nice to work with a group of people and our administrators across the board to celebrate that fact. So,
Thank you, Mrs. Kuhn. Just a quick shout out to Mr. Locke and Miss Albers. I believe back on October 12th, they sent out an invitation to some student showcases for public service announcements that they created as a part of our New Tech Network and project-based learning, and it was fantastic. I went. I know Jeff was there. And it was very, very, very cool to see the videos, the commercials, the brochures, everything our students put together to try to persuade you to their side. So it was great. So kudos to those students. And Jeff, thank you for bringing up the project exhibitions. There's actually 2 coming up this month. So the middle school on the 24th of October from 5 to 8:30. That'll be grade 8. And then at the high school on October 26th, 4:30 to 5:30. So for those of you out in the community and any other stakeholders for that matter who are interested in what project-based learning is and problem-based learning is and what we're doing with our educational reform movement here, so to speak, please come out and see those exhibitions. That'll really show you how capable our students and our teachers are and what that is and what that kind of curriculum is made of and how it really does benefit our students. And that is all I have. Let's see where we are here. We do not have a representative from either union, correct? Okay. All right. So we are going to go ahead and take our motion to move into a closed session for our wonderful partner, Waycross. We will not have any business after that. So we'll go ahead and oh, yes, Superintendent Smith.
Tailgating experience. The
Oh,
best
yes.
experience that you will ever have.
Get that.
And I know you wanted that one, Dr. Johnson,
did,
but you didn't get
I
it.
forgot
All right, I got that one. I was sitting
I'm
here
glad you
with my
remembered
fingers
that.
crossed and my legs
I am
crossed,
so
hoping they
glad
wouldn't
you
get it.
remembered.
So I got that one. Thank you, Dr. Johnson.
4:30 though. You didn't tell them what time to show
Yes,
up.
4:30
and the
this
date,
Friday.
and the date.
Free
All right.
giveaways, all kinds of stuff. Thank
Free
you.
giveaways, free food. Did everyone hear that?
And there might be a
4:30.
percussionist that you know. He won't
You'll
tell
have
you
to buy a
yet.
raffle
He
ticket.
might, yeah, raffle ticket for the percussionist. But
He's on
there's
tour.
also a great bit
Face
of news.
painting. It's gonna be a lot of fun
but,
stuff.
But here's another great bit of news. The Warriors have already clinched a home playoff game.
Awesome.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
All right.
Good job.
Yes, so we are
Great.
very, very excited about it. Brand new field, courtesy of all the special design by yours truly, Mr. Denny. I think when you made the track blue, it just made us come alive, sir. So thank you.
Yes, the
Should have
field-
always had that blue track.
The
Yeah,
field
it
looks
looks
amazing.
amazing, Mr.
It
Denny.
really does. It looks
Absolutely.
amazing.
So as a result, I've painted all the rooms in my house blue. So everything is everything. So way to go.
All right. Anything else, Superintendent Smith? Anything else from Treasurer Seymour?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right. So, yes.
The basis. Can we
For
just
the
make a
closed
motion
meeting.
for the closed
Oh yeah,
session?
we're
Okay.
gonna take the motion right now.
Madam President, I would like to make a motion to move to executive session to have a conference with an attorney to discuss disputes involving the subject of pending court action.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Seymour, would you please call that vote?
Dr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Kuhn?
Aye.
Mrs. Ruggless?
Aye.
Mr. Birdie?
Aye.
Mrs. Miranda?
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you all for hanging out with us this evening. Have a good night, and we will move into our executive session.